Good day, it's Gary. Hope you're doing well today. Had a fun, was it Saturday or Sunday? Saturday, yes, that was yesterday. Had a fun yesterday, had a fun Sunday. It is Gary and Tequila. Should we call this the Gary and the Tequila Show? That might sound a little odd. Gary and Tequila Show. Gary and Tequila Shots. Anyway, if you're watching this live, give me a 1 in the comments. If you're watching this on a replay, give us a 3 in the comments. Feel free to say hi to Tequila. Going to share with you, open up my little Pandora's box of crazy curses, if you will, that I've had. And I want to share with you perhaps my number one thing that I did not do that could have really grown my company and even myself personally on a huge different level. And I'm going to put it out there because I think some of you may have this challenge. I know, unfortunately for me, the reason I had this challenge is because the cult I was in. So I'll go into that in just a little bit. And we'll talk about this one thing that really has suppressed me as an individual and definitely in the business. So I'm making sure I constantly change that. So in the cult that I was born and raised in, one of the things that cults do is they work very, very hard to isolate you from everybody else. And this cult was no different. So their definition of isolation, if you will, is your only reason for really communicating or spending time with other people is to convert them. If you're not being in the mode of converting them, or you're not converting them, or they've totally said, you know, I don't want to have anything to do with what you're talking about, then you kind of leave them and you go find other people. But you definitely are not encouraged to mingle with your coworkers if you have a job. You're definitely not encouraged to go out and do anything with them, because what that does, that messes up the isolation process. And when that messes up the isolation process, now you could be influenced by other people. Go figure, right? You could be influenced to have a more freeing, better life. So that's how I grew up. And, you know, also couldn't do birthday parties and you know, things like that. So when a company would invite me to a speaking engagement, I remember one particular speaking engagement that I was invited to, and they invited me to a party. It was a birthday party, and I could not go and mingle. So this number one thing is this Pandora's box. And, you know, if you agree with my video so far or at the end, I'd like you to type in the comments, open the box, because you've got to open up your own Pandora box and figure out what are the evils or the things that are slowing you down. And for me, it was, don't go out and collaborate, don't associate with other people. So when I got out of the cult, one of the first things I remember, the very first time within a couple months that I was invited by a couple who had a pretty large event. They invited me to share, you know, their home and spend time with them. I had never done that in my entire life. Like, it was so foreign to me, but it was so good. So what I did yesterday is I had met a couple of cool people, definitely more cool now that I've, you know, spent time with them. And I've been communicating with them on social media. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to invite them to go in the helicopter and fly around, just have some fun. So we went in the helicopter. I'll show you some cool video here. And the whole idea was this, for me, is to collaborate with other people and do things and meet with them. And whether they do business with me or not, if I bring a bunch of people together, they can do business together. And they can help each other out and support each other. So for me, I am working very, very digital. Even though I've been out of this cult for, you know, over 15 years, like I mentioned, I immediately did something about it. But I still have that that programming in the back of my mind that says, you know, it's not stay away from them to be influenced, because I don't mind the influence. If I'm picking the right people, I want to be influenced by them. I want to hang around, you know, success-driven people. I want to hang around good people. But there's a part of me that says, you know, stay in my own little shell, because I'm so programmed to be in that isolated type of shell. So anyway, here's some cool video that we took yesterday. And it was just so fun to be able to collaborate and get to know people. You'll see there's a young gentleman by the name of Troy. There's Troy in the cockpit, and that's Amanda Holmes. And it was just giving us the opportunity to get to know each other and do things. So my question to you is, What are you doing to really reach out and collaborate? It's so important, and I'm going to be doing more of that. I have, for those of you who work with us or have done anything with us, you know Camille on our team, and she's just like, she's like that social butterfly, right? And I'm the one that I send her out and, hey, Camille, represent me. This is not what I want to be doing. But I know, and I tell her this every single time I go somewhere when I'm kind of like fighting it to meet more people and whatnot. Every time I do it, I always, and I tell her this in advance, I know when I'm done, I'm going to enjoy doing it, and I'm glad I have done it, and I'm going to do more of it. And when you collaborate, you can meet so many people that can put you in front of their audience. You can put them in front of your audience. And it just, there's so many win-win benefits. So I just wanted to share that with you today. And for me, it's, the programming is kind of crazy. It's, you know, when you do something and you're conditioned day after day for decades and decades and decades and decades, I'm not that old. But when you are programmed for decades to do the same thing every single day over and over and over, when it's instilled upon you not to associate with other people that are not of your kind, it's a challenge when you try to get out of that. So look for your Pandora's box. Put in the comment, open the box. Figure out what is it that you know that's slowing you down. Because remember, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And I know because I have not done enough of this. For some people that may have thought, you know, I'm kind of like standoffish or something, because I would go to these events and these people would pay me a lot of money, and I would go into these events, and I'd go in, I'd do my thing, and I'd leave, and I'd never spend enough time to build not just relationships, but friendships. And one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do, which I've done from day one once I left the cult, I intentionally look for people that I want to bring into my loop, if you will, of friends. So I have a mental list and a criteria and boundaries that I look for in close friendship. And when I meet somebody new, if I think in my mind, you know, that's somebody I like maybe in my loop, and then I start learning about them. You know, are they, you know, somebody who abuses other people? You know, do they do drugs? Do they not do drugs? Are they kind and respectful? All these things I'm looking for, and then this is not something that I'm going to make a decision in a month. This takes many, many, many months, because you want to make sure that the quality of your life is also a reflection on the quality of the relationships that you have. So I am so blessed that once leaving the cult, I've been able to meet and have some really, really amazing people a part of my life. And that's a part of my life I don't have to worry about toxic relationships and drama. I don't have that in my life, basically because I don't do toxic relationships and drama. Hopefully I've shared something with you of interest today. If you've enjoyed it, do me a favor and share it with your friends or colleagues. I'm sure they'd appreciate it as well. I'd love to see your comments below. I'll definitely do my very best to acknowledge that and also respond. Tequila and I are out of here. We've been talk about early starts. We started, if you check my stories, you know what I'll do? I'll check my stories. Type in what time I got started today. It was pretty early. So I got a full day today. I will do a good, I don't know, 18 hours solid today to get things done. And I tell people, you know, sometimes you have to make your plate bigger. You can either take stuff off your plate or make it bigger, or do both. So I'm going through a major growth change model in my company. So I've taken stuff off, but I'm making my plate bigger by doing that. I'm starting very early in the mornings and getting things done. Hope you have the energy and the mindset to do the same. Remember, it's not what time you wake up, it's how much time you put in. I'm out of here. Between now and the next time we get the chat, you know what to do. And if you don't, you will now. Don't let others